Okay, so I hope that you can all see my desk. Yes, that's looking good. At least I can see that at the moment. So just let me move that lighting and we'll see if that's any better. Okay, today what I thought we would do is this little bag. Now, I did make these a few years ago and I do have a video on this on my YouTube channel. I made it for an onstage event that we had a few years back. I think it was about 2018, and I did a video on this, but it was made with using the punch board, and we don't actually sell the punch board anymore. So what I thought I would do today is I've actually drawn up a plan here for all the scoring and everything, which I will put on my blog, so you can make one of these without a punch board. So this is just a little bag, handles, and just uses a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. I've used a magnet in here for the closure on my bag, but you can also use Velcro. And it's just a little bag, just great for putting, when you're expecting a few visitors, Christmas time or whatever, and you don't have any gifts for them and you just want something to give them, you can have these. I'm going to make a few of them and just have them about because I do alterations. So closer to Christmas, I'm going to have them around just as a little thank you gift for some of my clients that have me throughout the year doing some work for them. So makes a nice little gift. You could also put a little piece of jewelry or something in it if you have a special young lady or woman in the family that you're giving a gift to, and you just want to give them a little bit of a fancier gift wrapping option. So this is what we're going to make. So let's just get started. So this will be on my blog. It's just a bit of a map idea of how we're going to actually do our scoring. We're working with a 6x6 inch piece of cardstock, or that's around about 15.2 centimeters square. And we've got to do all this scoring here. So I've brought in a piece of designer series paper with the Whimsy and Wonder set, and we're going to start with that. So we do need our trimmer, and we're going to be using our scoring blade on that. Now, I do recommend when you make these little bags that you do use designer series paper and not your cardstock. Cardstock's a little bit heavier, so it doesn't fold as easily. When you score this, don't press down too hard with your scoring blade because it will tend to rip through your designer series paper if you're not careful. So going back here towards with my map here, we've got to put quite a few score lines on this, and we actually might just start off with a pencil and ruler because it is easier to actually draw these in. So here we've got, let me grab my pencil. So we've got two measurements we've got to look at. We've got 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch, or 5 centimeters and 2 inch. So on each side of our designer series paper, we're going to measure in and mark a notch at 2.5 centimeters and at 5 centimeters, and again from the other corner at 2.5 centimeters and at 5 centimeters. So let me just grab my ruler here and we'll go around and do that. So just do it on the very edge. Best to do it in pencil, so then you can rub anything out that you need to rub out. So we need it to mark at 2.5 and at 5. 5 and 2.5, and turn it around and just keep doing that all the way around. 2.5, 5. I just thought this would be something a little bit different to doing a card today. Something's a little bit fun. I know that every time I have made these and these little bags and other little things like this in the past, people have really loved them. I've taken them to my Bible study group and given them there. Now, you know, these little bags are a little bit too small to take a Ferrero Rocher in them, but you can put like a couple of little chocolate bars in them. Fits the Lindor mints really well. Okay, so I've gone around that and I've marked 2.5 and 5 centimeters all the way around that square. So now with our trimmer, what we're going to do is we're going to actually score those lines. So, oh, I don't know whether I've made that one, done that one, or it's just my eyes. I think it's just my eyes. There's a mark there, and there is a mark right there. So we're going to start with, say, the 2.5. So I'm going to take the 2.5, which is right there, and we're going to score that to the 2.5 down in this corner here. So if I come back to this, so we've got 2.5 here, and we're going to score that down to that 2.5 line or mark down the bottom here. So just put the 2.5 mark in that channel, making sure you've got your cutting blade right out of the road, and that's in that channel, and we're just going to score there. Then we're going to move it across, and we're going to find that other 2.5 mark, which is on the other side, parallel to that line we've just scored, and the other one down here. And we're going to do the same thing, making sure that that's all lined up. And we're going to score that one. As I said, don't push down too hard. Now we're going to go the opposite corners, and we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to take that 2.5 mark up to the 2.5 up there and score. Move it across to the other 2.5 mark, which is just there. Unfortunately, it is a little bit hard to see when you've got printed paper. And we're going to score that again there. So we should have scored 4 lines. We've got 2 going down this way and 2 going across that way at the diagonal. We're then going to line up our 5 centimeter mark, which is the next mark along to that one, and we're just going to go diagonally across those corners. Okay, so we're going to turn that around to the next corner, again lining up our 5 centimeter mark there with our 5 centimeter mark here, and score. Turn it again, lining up that one and that one, score. And again on here, so there's our 5 centimeter mark there, and the other one is there, and score. So that's all our scoring. So that's all done now. So let me just move that out of the road. I'll just get a rubber and just take these marks out. Now you do need a corner rounder for this, because that was one of the beauties of the the envelope punch board, is that we also had a corner rounder with it, and I found that it's probably easier to do the corners now. Now you could do just 2 diagonal from each other, but at this point in time I actually like to do the whole lot. So we're just going to go around and punch each one. Go around and punch. Now, if by any chance there is any problems with you seeing this live today, I will put this video on my YouTube channel so you can see it. over the weekend. Okay, so now we've rounded all those corners, and what we can do is fold all these score lines and just give them a light fold across all of them. One more across there, so you should have 4 diagonal lines going across on each side. So this is going to form our bag. Okay. Now what we do have to do now is actually cut out these little triangular bits here. So if we look at this again, we're going to remove these pieces in here. So just with a pair of scissors, we're just going to snip these away, following those score lines. There's a little bit of work involved in making these little bags, but they are very cute. So I hope there's something that you will try to make yourselves. They're fiddly, but they're easy. Now this is something that the punch board used to do for us, so we didn't have to worry about this part, but it doesn't take long to trim all those out. So then we're left with a piece that looks like that. Now what we need to do is fold in our sides, so we need to fold in these corners here. Now we don't have any score lines on those corners, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that in, and I've got to bring this score line that runs here in line with this one. And the easiest way to do that, once I get this started, is it's getting it started, it's the hard part. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fold that in, and we're going to bring that score line to this score line here. And once you've got that there, you can lay it down, pop your finger in the middle there, and really push that score line down there. So we're just going to give that a really good firm push in there, and just make sure that's folded. And we're going to go around and do the same thing on all sides. So I'm just going to bring those 2 lines together, and that's forming the sides of our bag, and give that a really good press down in there to give that score line. You could use your bone folder to do that also. So again, we're going to fold there, and we're going to bring this fold line down to that one, and inside give that a really good press just to make sure that that score line is firm there. One more. So again, fold it there, bring this score line down to meet that one, and give that a good press. So that's all our lines there folded. Just having a quick look, because I'm hoping we've still got us going here. It looks like we have. Okay, so once we've done that, we need to start adhering these together. Now the easiest way I find to do this is we've got to put some adhesive on both sides. We're going to bring these 2 together and adhere them together, and you can use liquid glue to do this, but I find it's a lot easier with tear and tape. So what I'm going to do on this side is we're going to run some tearing tape just on one edge here. So if I fold this like that, so there's our diagonal little pieces we've just folded there. If I fold it there, I'm going to pop some tearing tape from this score line here across. Okay, so we're just going to pop a bit of tearing tape there, and we're going to do the same on this side here. So we're just going to put a bit of scoring tape on there and run it across, tear it off. Okay, so we've got 2 pieces there. Now we're going to do the same on this side. So I'm just going to fold it there so I can see where my folded edge, because I want this score tape to be as close to that edge as we possibly can. Up to that length there, and again from that cut edge right in to that line there. Probably have gone a little bit long there, so I might just roll that back and just give that a bit of a trim. Okay. And now we need to do, so that's 4 we've got on our front of our box or our bag, and we need to do some in the middle. So these ones in the middle, these pieces are going to fold and adhere together there, and this one's going to fold and adhere together there, and that's going to form the front or the back of our box, where we're going to actually glue these 2 pieces here. We don't want to glue these pieces that I'm folding in onto the sides, because the sides are going to be eventually going to fold like that. We don't want all that thickness and bulk in there. So what I'm going to do is on the inside is put a little bit of adhesive, because we're going to have those there stuck. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. Whoops, I'll remove that. So I'm just going to actually pop a little bit on there and on there, again in all four sides. Now you don't have to run it directly there, you could run it down the length there if you want, but as long as you've got some adhesive there like that. So these pieces are going to fold in on each other eventually like that. Now what I do want to do before I go much further is, as I said before, you can have a couple of different types of closures. You could use Velcro, and you'd buy the little mini Velcro dots like that, which I think of these ones here I may have got from Big W quite a while ago, but I think Spotlight and Lincraft also may sell them. Or you can use magnets. Now I've had these magnets for quite a while, and I think I purchased them from eBay. So you just need 2 little magnets. Now these magnets are only about 1 to 2 millimeters in thickness, so they're very, very small. There's 2 there. And we're just going to use a glue dot and adhere this to the front of our bag. So these are going to fold onto each other like that, and that's going to become the front of our bag and the back of our bag. So we're not going to have these folding in on the sides, because as I said before, we don't want the bulk. So what we're going to do, I've got both the glue dot, the magnets there. Let's move that out of the road. And I'm just going to grab a glue dot. Now I've still got these 2 magnets attached to each other, and I'm just putting a glue dot on one side. Now I'm just going to remove one of those magnets and just pop it over there, and I'm just going to lift that magnet with the glue dot, and I'm going to pop it, because I know this is my front. Okay, so I want to have a glue dot roughly in the middle of my bag, just there. So now once we've got all that on, we're going to start constructing our bag, putting our bag together. So I'm going to go back to this side here and peel off the backing off my tear and tape. And I'm going to start bringing these 2 together. So I'm going to bring these 2 edges, these 2 folded edges, together like that. On the inside, okay, I hope you can see that. On the inside, I'm going to take that little piece of tearing tape off there. Now this is going to get very fiddly, because this area is going to get smaller and smaller, And you can see there's my magnet there, and I'm going to bring that over the top of that magnet. I'm going to bring these two sides here together. Again, hope you can see in there's that little piece of tearing tape there. I'm going to take the backing off that one and fold that over the top. Now at this point here, you can grab your bone folder and just give that a really good rub on the inside there, just to make sure that that tear and tape is adhering really well. Okay, so our magnet now is actually in here, and this is going to be the front of our box. So we're folding all these two sides to the front of our box. So we're going to repeat the same thing to the back of our box. So take that tearing tape off, and we're going to bring those two edges together. Now this is where it's going to become a little bit fiddly seeing what's happening on the inside. So I'm just going to flip that out just so you can see. So there's our piece of tear tape inside. So we just need to take that off. I'm going to use my scissors here, I think, just to take that off there. And I'm going to push that towards the back. So with this one, I'm going to take my tear and tape off here. Whoops. Didn't want to come. I'm going to push that back on the inside. Bring those two side edges together. Just like that. Again, I don't know whether you can see. I'm going to fold all those down so you can see into there. I'm going to grab that piece of tearing tape there. Whoops, the magnet's got stuck to my scissors. Oops. Let me just rub that tearing tape down. It just doesn't want to, the backing was not wanting to come off. I think I've got it this time. Okay, grab that backing out, and we're going to fold that back over what is now going to be the back of our box. I'm going to grab that bone folder again and just rub that down. So basically what we've made now is a little box, and we have got our side pieces all folded in onto the back and the front. There's nothing folded in on the sides there. So if you feel that, you can feel your magnet, so you know that that is your front of your little box. Now here's where you've got a choice. With this bag here, I've got the black and white designer series paper, and I've got my blue sides popping out. To do that is I folded those two pieces to the outside. The other thing you could do is fold them to the inside and just have the same color all the way around on your bag. It's really up to you which one you want to do. So I'm actually going to, for this one, I'm going to put it in, fold it in. But first off, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here, and this is the front. There's my magnet. I can feel my magnet just there underneath. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive here, and I'm just going to use a little bit of tearing tape. So I've just popped a little bit of adhesive on there. Take that backing off, and I'm going to fold that into the inside of my box, and that's just going to make that inside part there, tidy all that up and hide all of these folds and everything. So I'm going to pop that into there and that one into there. As I said, you could have it outwards if you wanted to. And then all we're going to do is grab at the top of our little box, the front and the back between our thumb and our finger, and just push that closed like that, and just give a little bit of a pinch there on those two sides. Then that's going to fold over like that. So that's the main part of our little box, but we need to put that magnet on there. So if you grab your magnet, you sit it there, it will flip so the right sides are touching. So it's just sitting there. I'm going to grab another glue dot, pop that on top of my magnet there, close my box and close down my little lid. Now if you're going to use Velcro, what you would have done is taken these two pieces of Velcro, because you've got two sides to your Velcro. You've got these are pretty old. That's okay. So you've got two sides of your Velcro. You've got your male and your female side. And what you're going to do is you're going to get those, take the backing off it, pop it onto there, then take the backing off the other side and close it up, and that will add your Velcro to in between those two layers. Okay. But I like to use the little magnets. I like but it is a little bit more costly to do it with the magnets, and they do take a little bit of time to get them, because you do need to order them from somewhere. Hi Mary, thank you for watching. Okay, so now we need to make our handles. Now our handles, we need a piece of cardstock, and this is 15 centimeters in length. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece here 15 centimeters. It doesn't matter how wide it is. We're going to score this at around about 1 centimeter on either edge. So you've got your 15 going across. We're going to score it 1 centimeter on that side, and we're going to score it on 1 centimeter on this side. And I know you're probably thinking, that's a wide handle, too wide for the bag. And yes, it is. But if you're making lots of these, this is the easiest way to do it. So the reason why I've scored that there is just so then when we have the handles on the bag, there's a little bit of movement, so you can open the bag up by pushing the handles to one side. So it's just breaking the fibers down a little bit there on your handles to make that a lot easier. I found before in previous times I've made this, that these handles, because they are only about 1/4 of an inch or 0.7 centimeters wide, they will tend to break very, very easily. So if you're doing a lot of these, this is the easiest way I find to do it, is I just grab a piece of cardstock. Doesn't matter how wide it is that way, as long as you've got either your 6 inches or your 15 centimeters that way. And we're going to get our tear and tape, and we're going to run this along our base there on that edge. And this is how we're going to adhere it to our bag, and we're going to do it on this side as well. So if you're doing about, half a dozen or more of these little purses, then by doing this, you can cut lots of handles out at one time. So now we're just going to line this up with about 1/4 of an inch. Move that scoring blade out of the road. So take that up the top, 1/4 of an inch, and we can cut. We need 2 handles, so we're going to cut 2 of them. So if you can imagine, if I was doing lots of these bags, then I could just keep cutting and make as many handles as I want out of that one piece. And it's a lot easier putting your tearing tape along a wider part than it is trying to get a little bit of tearing tape onto each one of these ends. So it is worthwhile doing it this way. So let's just move that out of the road. So now we're finished with that, and we've got 3 handles. We only need 2, so we'll pop that one to one side. Now before we put our handles on, what I thought we would do is a little tag like I've done this, and I'm just putting "with love" on that. So I'm going to grab another piece of my Mossy Meadow cardstock. I hope I am anyway. Yes, there it is. And we're going to emboss with love. So I've taken the with love from the Hydrangea Haven stamp set, because you've got with love, for you. So you've got a few different things there that you can put. Oops, I've got things balancing over here and they're starting to move. So you've got a couple of different sentiments that you can put on your tag. The tag we're using are also from the coordinating dies for the Hydrangea Haven as well. So let me just pop that little bit of black out of there, because I did the black one earlier. So we need our Versamark. And we're just going to stamp that onto there. Now I'm going to use white embossing powder. You could use whatever colour embossing powder you wish, depending on what colour you're doing your tag. Put a little bit of embossing powder on there. We don't need too much. Just flick away any excess. And we're just going to heat that up with our heat tool. And once we have that heated and it's gone from a matte white to our shiny white, we know that that is all done. Okay. And we're just going to pop that on there. So I'm just going to cut my cardstock down a little bit because I don't need all of that. And bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. So we're going to layer this up. We've got our layer 1 and our matte layer 2. We're just going to pop another one on top. Run that through. Oops, let's move these out of the road so I don't squish them. Run that through our cut and emboss machine. And we will be left with this little tag here. Okay, so we just need a little bit of baker's twine. We probably don't need too much. Magnets keep on sticking to my scissors. Pop that through there. Tie that off. To the length we want, and then just trim that excess off. So there's our little tag with love. So we're going to grab our handles and a bone folder, and we want to curve these. Now that's going to be where our adhesive is. It's going to be the underneath, so I'm going to have that on the top and just very gently curve those, just breaking down that fibre and just helping the cardstock to bend. And we're going to put the one on the back first. So peel the backings off, and then all I'm going to do, so we've got that score line there at 1 centimetre. I'm going to line that score line up with the top edge of my bag, and I'm running it along the side. There's those folds that we folded in before, so I'm running that just along either side of that, and we're going to take the backing off our second side. and do the same. So that making sure that scored line is running along the top of our bag. Whoops, just moved at that last minute. Let's see if I can get that right. Now give that a really good firm press just to make sure that they have adhered well. So we're going to take the backing off one side of our front. Again, making sure that that score line is in line with the top of our bag and running along that fold line. Now this is where you need to, before we put the other side on, put our tag on there. Move it right out of the road. Take the backing off that one. And pop that on there like that. So there's our little bag. Move that tag back over again. And with this bag here, I used the brushed metal adhesive dots to pop, just to finish off my bag. You could choose whichever you want. This paper's got a lot of silver in it, so I decided not to use those. So I've pulled out the Genial Gems, and I'm going to use the green tones because that is a mint macaron, and the green in this is mint macaron and mossy meadows. So we'll use these. I can find the opening to get in. And I'm just going to take one of the big ones and pop it on here, just where that, whoops, where the magnet would be, which is around about there. And then the smaller ones, now I'm not going to worry about putting them on the back. I'm just want to pretty up the front a little bit. So I'm going to pop one just there, just pushing that down quite well to make sure it's adhering. It would have been a lot better if I had have used, did I get any adhesive on that? No, I think I might. Oh yes, I have. It's stuck to my finger. Thought when I peeled that off, better off using proper tools for doing these things. Yes, pop another one just on there. And then we can open this up, pop a little Lindor mint into there, close that up, and there's another little bag. So that's how you can very easily make very cute little bags to add a gift or just a little treat inside to give and share with your friends and family leading up to Christmas. As I said before, the Ferrero Rocher is probably just that little bit too big. I found that the top just didn't want to close, but you could probably put in a couple of smaller size chocolates, or even something like these little mini Mentoses will actually fit in there quite well as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you can make use of making some of these little bags yourself. Just let me see if I can see if there's any comments watching. Sorry, it's just keeps flipping in and out. Let me just flip my camera over so I can see any comments again. Okay. Perfect to pair with the normal wine bottle gift. Yeah, could do too. Put a little chocolate in there. Chocolate and wine always goes well together. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Just something I thought would be a little bit different just to make from making cards all the time. If you have left comments, I will get back to them after this is all finished. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you all next week, where we most likely will make a card and have a look at some of the things that are coming out within Stampin' Up. So have a lovely day, and take care. Bye for now.